If you're anything like me, probably once you've started watching a series, you tend to skip the opening to get to the actual content of the episode a little bit sooner. But in this case, for episode 6 of genLOCK, there was a little bit extra switched in the opening, which kind of sets the tone for the overall episode. But before I get into that, I'm going to say spoiler warnings for the episode, because I'm not going to be showing it or clips from it in this video, just images of the episode and analyzing the overall episode itself. But in the opening itself, at the end of it, when it shows Julian's face and kind of glitches out to him in his body currently, how it's very damaged and everything of that sort, that's what it's been for the first 5 episodes so far. But this episode, it swapped it out. Instead of showing Julian's broken and beaten body, it shows a dark version of Julian. Everything is grayscale, except instead of blue, it's red added in, and it looks very evil and ominous. Of course, you can probably guess as to what that is, but it definitely sets the tone for the episode, and honestly could be easily missed, especially if you just skip the opening. But this episode overall starts off with everyone coming back from the mission they were just on after facing the Holon beast Nemesis, which talked and sounded like Julian. So people are not very happy about that. Leon and Jodie are pissed about having to fight genLOCK technology because they thought it was going to help them, but I mean, of course the Union's going to try to get it and get more technology, but still frustrating. And then there's Miranda, who Julian tries to talk to and, you know, doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't handle the opening very well, because he asks first and foremost, hey, should I try one of those opening lines? A little bit more serious than that, because she's pretty pissed off. She doesn't know what to think, because apparently the beast talked exactly like him and moved exactly like him. It used some of his moves maybe, but it was also running on all fours, so I don't think it's acting 100% like him, but it definitely sounded like him. She's concerned whether are both the real Julian, are neither of you the real, or did her Julian die 4 years ago? Pretty harsh words, but also understandable concerns. With that though, Julian kind of phases away, and then it cuts to when everyone's landing, and Julian is quite frustrated with the doctor because he wants to know what the hell's going on. And Yasmin just says, you know, we owe him a lot. We at least owe him the benefit of the doubt. And with that, we also see that the prisoners, or the scientists that they rescued, were on the plane and are being shipped off to somewhere for debriefing or what have you. We then see the Vanguard approach the rest of the genLOCK team and say that, well, we need to go over your mission performance. Meet us here in an hour, and all of that. Kazu not very happy, because he's like, you know, we just did a successful mission. This was the first attack back against the Union. Let's celebrate, but they don't seem very happy. Understandably so, but we now see Julian actually approach Dr. Weller and have a little conversation. The truth is actually revealed. He says, I now know why the Colonel offered to transfer me back to the Vanguard, and why you were pushing to make all these new little gadgets to give us an upper hand in battle. Because they knew what this thing was, or what it could be. And Dr. Weller says, yeah, it's probably you running this, Julian. Your Nemesis. So we get the confirmation of the name, everything of that sort, and we get a little montage of how the genLOCK program progressed. It shows Julian being rescued from the plane, saying that with him being the first that was established as genLOCK compatible, he was probably one of the most important people in all of Polity, which makes a lot of sense. And he agreed to it, clung to life with ferocity, and progressed with the program, continuing with the experiments, and it shows how it developed over time until genLOCK was first established. And Julian was able to run, walk, everything a lot faster than was expected, and was able to go out on missions, and was producing excellent results. So much so that the Colonel, who at the first couple episodes was very pissed about the genLOCK program and saying that it was supposed to help them and everything, which her anger now makes a little bit of sense, but she was very interested in it. It says almost to the point of reaching like a fever pitch, and with her interest rising, so did the Union's. Julian, being sent out on missions alone, was getting excellent results, but he was sent out on missions alone. So the Union ambushed him through everything that they had and took him. So first and foremost, I want to say, when you send anyone out on a mission alone, I don't know much about military tactics, but when someone's sent out alone, you kind of have to expect that the worst case scenario might happen because there's absolutely no backup for that person. That's why the genLOCK team as it is now with 5 people is probably a lot better than just a single person, although one could do a lot more stealth. Once they're found out, they're going to be completely outnumbered, and I kind of feel like that was a little bit of bad strategy on their point, and they were a little bit too eager to get results with the genLOCK program, but still, what ended up happening is not very good. However, with Julian's body, or Julian's Holon being stolen, with his mind inside of it, which makes me also think that I guess the uptime wasn't necessarily established, or the cancellation button to recall a person's mind. So they were able to do that with Cammy, they were able to do that with other people as well. Once they reached the end of uptime, Julian's bot had just powered down and he was returned, so I guess that wasn't established just yet. But what they were doing at the time was every time that Julian's mind was uploaded to the Holon, they were creating a copy of the mind. So they had a backup of Julian's mind, which in my opinion is pretty smart if someone's mind gets taken like that. And so they had his body, they had the copy of the mind, and they just restored him. So pretty much they told Julian that the mission was scrapped, the doctor had lied to him, and didn't tell him anything about his mind being stolen. And of course from that point on, once Julian's Holon and mind was stolen, they stopped the process of copying it. Now, stopping copying the mind doesn't necessarily make sense in my head, because if someone's mind is taken, you at least have a backup to restore them the way they are. Although if they establish the uptime and could return a person at the click of a button, then that would also make sense, and all they would get is the Holon shell. So I'm hoping there's some more explanation on that in the future episodes, because that doesn't exactly make 100% sense to me. Needless to say, as Julian is getting increasingly pissed off at the doctor saying that he lied to him, the Union actually shows up at the base itself. Now, Julian calls this karma for the doctor's actions, and I think that's, of course he's saying this out of, anger and emotion and things like that, but that's definitely not fair, because there are so many people who had no idea about that in the base, and having the Union show up there to pretty much destroy them, or whatever their goal is, yet that doesn't seem exactly fair. Needless to say, though, the Union starts broadcasting to the base itself using Julian's ID code, and it's the Holon beast Nemesis that is talking to them, and it's Julian. They're saying, okay, who is piloting the Nemesis? And the Nemesis asks, who do you want it to be? And starts saying, why am I still here? Why do I hear new voices in my head? Want out. Kill copy. And the doctor's saying, come back to us. We can try to help you. And it's saying, you can't. No helping. There's no helping him. Things of that sort. So it's obvious that his mind has been very much messed with, to the point that it's no longer Julian. The document says, come back to us, we will do whatever we can to help you. I can't promise a return to your body, because of course it's not compatible at that point, but they might be able to do something to help. Needless to say, though, that doesn't really work, as Julian jumps right into the fight. Just comes in and kicks him right in the head and starts fighting with the Nemesis. Julian, the current Julian, the one that we know, not the Nemesis, is saying, you want to return to the body? Well, I can help you with that, and starts fighting with him. Julian's kind of pissed off at him, but you're fighting yourself, dude. You have to realize that, it was you that got taken by the Union, had some serious experiments done in your mind, and a lot of emotions are going on right now, so I'm sure he's not thinking clearly, but still, that's just a messed up situation. Of course, the rest of the genLOCK team, concerned as to what's happening, they go see that Julian's out there fighting, so they deploy, and they go jump headfirst into battle. Now, with the battle ensuing, after a little bit, everyone's taking some pretty serious damage. We see Kazu having, with his fighting style, being right on the front lines, more fighting with his fists and swords instead of guns, he's taking a lot of damage, and you can see it coming in on the Holon. And Valentina, being up there sniping, is saying, let me help you, let me jump into battle, and things of that sort, and he's saying, nah, I'm fine, as he gets tackled and almost captured by the Union. They're pinning him down, so Valentina mind shares with him, and we see her Holon actually kind of go dark as they share their minds, and with that point, both of them in the same mind, or same Holon, I should say, they are able to overpower all of them. They kind of do what I'd like to call the dance of blades, as they're pretty much dancing inside the, or at least their minds are dancing inside of the Holon. That's probably what it's trying to imply. And they are overpowering the spider droids, taking out a whole bunch of them. So definitely works, and I wonder how exactly it works. Maybe two minds, two nervous systems in the same Holon can give it increased strength, increased something or other, because the Holon itself, the body only has so much capabilities. It's up to the mind controlling it as to what it can do. So with two minds, I'm guessing it can just do a lot more. Again, hopefully more explanation in the future, but Kazu and Valentina seem to be an interesting couple, and Kazu's definitely getting over the fact that Valentina is Val as well, being gender fluid, both guy and girl. I think that'd be an interesting couple, and it seems like they're going to try to push that at some point, but it also seems a little bit natural. Needless to say, after the mind sharing, Val goes back to her body, or her Holon, and is able to continue the fight. Now, it's Julian on the front lines fighting Nemesis. Yasamine goes up to him and says, hey, let's fight together. And Julian's like, well, what's stopping you? No, let's mind share and fight together. And Julian says, you know what, not right now, and pretty much just shrugs her off. Now, Yasamine is on the front lines, and we do see that her Holon kind of goes dark as well. It closes its eyes, and she has to reopen them after she had attempted to mind share. So that raises the question. It seems like the Holon goes dark, the one who's mind sharing with the other, whoever's mind is sent over, that Holon ends up going dark. Now, Yasamine's on the front line. We know that the Union is after the genLOCK technology. That seems like a bit of a bad choice on the front lines to do that. A little bit of a bad strategy there, as with Valentina and Kazu's strategy, that one's brilliant. Valentina is back behind the front lines as a sniper, so she can see everything that's going on, and she could just hop mindshare to different people, and her body would be safe because it's not on the front lines. So that's a great strategy. The way that they have everything set up and have all these different people doing different strategies, Kazu being the tank going forward, Julian from the air, eventually Yasamine's going to be from the air as well, Cammy with the tech, and Valentina being the sniper. Excellent strategies, having units of all different types. It's brilliant. And with that, though, the Union actually breaches the base. So, of course, they're going straight for the genLOCK technology, or the genLOCK lab. So the doctor says, everyone pull the hell out, your real bodies are in danger, you need to run. So they all book it back, of course not meaning Julian, because his body, he can't run, he got no legs. So everyone books it back, and they get out of their Holon pods and are pretty much needing to run. So the doctor says, you go, I'll catch up later, and he tells Caliban, the robot, that Omega protocols apply. Now, I'm not really sure exactly what that means, but judging by what happens next, I can have a few guesses. The Union, the soldiers, actually show up just as everyone's escaping down the elevator. Now, they've taken Julian's pod, and he doesn't seem to be, he's not connected to anything, so he's still fighting out in the actual Holon, fighting the Nemesis. So his pod must have pretty great Wi-Fi, because he doesn't have to be connected to anything like everyone else had to be connected in the pods, and Julian had to be connected through some wires, I'm guessing, but now apparently he got good Wi-Fi. I don't get it. But needless to say, Union soldiers show up, they just get in the elevator and escape, and Dr. Weller, kind of calls them all into the lab by saying, you're not going to take my kids, there's no point in going after them. And then he pulls out some little device, as we find out as he clicks a button and blows himself up along with the rest of the soldiers. Now, you can see Yasamine in the elevator, she kind of realizes this by saying no, but yeah, The Doctor and Yasmin had a really special connection, I guess, like father-daughter connection. Doctor put a lot of trust in her, probably rescued her from the Union, gave her a lot of things, support, and that's gotta be really hard for her, and once that really sinks in, that's going to be, well, that's going to be pretty difficult for her to deal with, I'm guessing. And the Doctor, he's gone now. He blew himself up. Though with him already showing the capability to copy minds, that being that he was able to copy Julian's mind. Although Julian was special, having his mind being able to be digitized, I'm guessing the Doctor may have made some sort of backup. That's what I'm guessing. Maybe Omega protocols apply. Maybe eventually back up his mind or revive him or something. He mentioned at one point that he was never able to clone himself. Like, trust me, I've tried. So I don't exactly know if there's going to be a clone or anything of that sort. I just hope it's not the last we've heard of the Doctor. But anyways, this explosion kind of stops the elevator from moving, so they end up having to get off at the barracks. And as they're getting off, the Union soldiers come around, and enough to completely screw them over. So they end up hiding in the meeting room, and Cammy actually creates pretty much a hologram to cover the door. And we see in the meeting room that, well, this is where the Vanguard was going to go over the genLOCK's performance. And it was actually what Kazu was suggesting. It was going to be a party congratulating genLOCK on their first win. Which, of course, makes Kazu feel like crap, but they don't really have much time to focus on that as they have to get out and run. So they end up getting down to the hangar and talking to Miguel, saying, we need to get to a transport to get the hell out of here. The Holons are already loaded up, but Miguel helps them and drives them out there to get to the transport. And as they're dragging Julian's body as well, not dragging, but transporting it over there, the Nemesis, of course, gets a look at it. So guess what it's targeting? Of course, Julian's body, trying to have itself return. And Julian, of course, trying to stop it. They do make it to the transport and are able to, Yasmin's able to fly it, they're able to take off. But just as it's taking off, we see that the hammer is actually ready, which we had heard about previously in this episode, but it's giant guns on the top of the base, or giant lasers, I guess, that will be able to take out this behemoth, as it just reached the base. And the laser actually blasts right through it and is able to take it out. So everyone's celebrating, like, yeah, it's taken out. But as it's falling, I'm thinking to myself, it's still probably full of soldiers or other tech that could do some damage. And lo and behold, after it hits the ground, guess what starts spilling out of it? Not soldiers, but nanotech. Purple mist coats the entire base. Like, similar to New York, just coats everything. Julian standing on top of the base trying to call everyone. No one's answering. Yasmin in the ship is just saying, you know, Julian, we need help here. There's some drones after us. We need help. So Julian goes to help them, but purple mist is covering the base. Everyone's dead. That's it. genLOCK's over. We're done. Done here. All right. Bye. See ya. In all seriousness, though, everyone's not dead. Like, there's Miranda's probably going to survive. The Colonel's probably going to survive. There's going to be at least a bunch of survivors that come out of this. At least I would assume so. If they killed off everyone that we knew, that would definitely be something new that Rooster Teeth is doing with this series. But I have a feeling they're not going to do that, because there's quite a few characters in there that, you know, are kind of integral to the story at this point. Julian, though, still showing pretty reasonable judgment in that he can't reach anyone, but he knows that the genLOCK team needs him, so he goes off, helps them. He still leaves Miranda behind, which must have been hard for him, as well as his anger against the Nemesis, the Doctor himself, and things of that sort. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to deal with in episode 7. Now, where exactly are they going to go? Who are they going to meet up with? Well, the team is in a transport going to who knows where. The thing is, at the beginning of this episode, when everyone was getting off from the original mission, they made a point of showing that the scientists that they rescue were going onto a transport themselves and going somewhere for debriefing. Now, as I mentioned in the previous review, one of the scientists showed particular interest in the mechs, so I'm guessing he's a mech sort of scientist. So if they go and meet up with them, maybe those people can upgrade the Holon tech and help them be battle ready, or at least repair the Holons from the damage that they took, to be ready to come back and fight the Union again. One thing that's abundantly clear from this episode, though, the Union, even though they were able to capture Julian initially and get his mind and the Holon, the genLOCK technology, they can't reproduce it. I'm guessing they can't be able to detect whether people are genLOCK compatible. It doesn't seem like they're able to copy the brain in any sort of way, or really remake a Holon, because I'm guessing that the Holon beast right now, or Nemesis, is just a modified version of the Holon they stole. So overall, there's a lot that's going to need to sink in from this episode, and seeing everyone's reactions to it. Julian realizing that everyone he knew at the base, including Miranda, might actually be dead. It's going to have to sink in. Same with everyone else, and the doctor being gone. Also that Julian's now fighting a copy of himself, and he's going to have to deal with the morality of, he's going to either have to kill himself if Nemesis won't listen to reason, or try to convince him one way or another. And then there's always like, well, the current Julian has Julian's body and is still compatible with it, where the other one won't be compatible with it. So yeah, and Nemesis definitely won't be compatible with Julian's body. Too much has happened. Of course, like the mind has been altered to the point where it's almost, it has Julian's voice, but I wouldn't necessarily call it Julian himself. So definitely won't be able to transfer back to the body, even if Nemesis did get it. So guessing there might be an android body or something similar. Maybe that's what the opening was implying. But yeah, there's a lot that's going to happen in the next episode. I'm guessing the next episode is not going to be very battle heavy, but more recovery from this, and then maybe the finale will be taking back the base, seeing that people are alive, and that's at least my guess. But the most interesting thing I found about this episode had nothing to do with this entire battle or finding out the information about the genLOCK technology. It was actually when they hopped into the meeting room where they were going to do the debrief, go over the genLOCK tech or the genLOCK performance. It was when they showed the banner. We saw the nicknames or epithets that everyone was going by, or their code names, whatever you want to call it. There was Wraith Valentina, Shogun Kazu, Chaser Chase, which seems kind of redundant, Trix Kami, and Huma Yasamine, or Huma Yaz. So all of those are fantastic. Shogun for Kazu is perfect. It fits great. Wraith for Valentina is badass, and I love it. Trix Kami is cute. Kami's cute. Fits perfectly. I love it. Again, Chaser Chase is a little bit redundant still, but Huma Yaz, that's the one. I looked it up online. Huma is a Muslim word for baby name. I mean, there's a few different definitions, but the one I like the best is the Muslim definition. It's Huma is kind of a name for a baby, but what it actually means is lucky bird. Kind of gives a meaning to why the doc was calling her little bird, it's time to fly again, when he kissed her on the forehead and everything as he was saying goodbye to her. It fits so well, but also with Lucky Bird, it could also mean Phoenix. So of course you can tell why I am kind of loving that name. So kind of loving Yasamine as a character even more, if that's the kind of route that her powers are going to take, with her being in the air and firing lasers, things of that sort, though Phoenixes don't fire lasers still. I loved that that was introduced, and all the other names just are fantastic. So that was a lovely little thing that they just put into the episode, and little things like that are fantastic, and I love them. Overall, though, looking forward to the next episode and seeing how everyone deals with all of this. Let me know how you guys reacted to all of the information that we got. We kind of had hints that Nemesis was Julian himself, especially with at the end of last episode it saying kill copy. Kind of had some hints and implications. So how did you guys predict what was going to happen? How did you react to the doctor blowing himself away? Do you think he's actually dead? Do you think everyone else at the base is actually dead? I personally don't think everyone at the base is already dead, but I really hope we do see Dr. Weller again. I hope he's not gone for good, because he was a great character. Plus, he's also the one who created genLOCK, and he'll be the one who develops it even more in the future, unless there's another doctor that can do it, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. Hope you guys liked this video. Tomorrow is the release of genLOCK episode 7, so hopefully I'll be able to have the review out for that either tomorrow or the day after. I'm really going to try to get back on track, especially for tomorrow's episode and episode 8, so look forward to that. And hope you guys liked the video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in the next one.